Did you know that there is 100 billion UPICs in Upland at the moment? I'm YK2012, founder of the Upland Guide, and in this video I'm going to explain about the financial pools in Upland and how that 100 million UPICs came to be and where it's going and how it moves around. In order for Upland to function as an economy, when the game started, Upland has created two different types of financial pools. The first one is called the Upland Pool, and the second one being the Community Pool. If you'd like to read more about these pools, there are links in the description below to content on the Upland Guide website where I explain this in more detail, as well as the Upland white paper. The economy started with Upland minting 50 billion UPICs to the Upland pool, as well as 50 billion UPICs to the community pool. Now imagine you are the first player in the game. Once you enter the game, everyone gets 4,500 UPICs just for signing up. That money comes from the community pool. Your next step would be becoming an Uplander. Let's say you decided to buy $10 worth of UPICs, and you can do that just by heading into this UPIX store in the upper right-hand corner. If I chose to buy 10,000 UPICs, the $10 that I would spend would go directly to the company Upland Me Inc. This is the company that runs and operates Upland. When players buy UPICs from the store, it goes directly to development and operations of Upland, whether it be further development of new features, advertising, creating partnerships, rent, salaries, or anything else that the company requires in order to operate. That is where this US dollars is going. In return for your $10, you will be receiving 10,000 UPICs. That 10,000 UPICs comes from the Upland pool and is deposited directly into your account. With that, now you have UPICs in your account and you can go and mint properties, buy things from the secondary market. Whatever you'd like to do with that UPICs is now yours to do. Let's say with that 10,000 UPICs that you just got, you decide to mint a property for 5,000 UPICs. When you do that, the 5,000 UPICs is going to the community pool. This community pool exists to sustain the Upland economy. Let's say I minted this property here. We all know that for every property you own, you receive monthly earnings. These monthly earnings are paid out by that same community pool. If your property is part of a collection, you can also get additional boosted earnings on that property. If you want to learn more about the property card and understanding these numbers, we've got a link in the upper right-hand corner. Upland also has lots of contests where they give away UPICs. If you find a treasure during treasure hunting, all of that UPICs is also coming from the community pool. Here we can start to see the transfer of money between players' accounts and the community pool. Every time you do something with your UPICs, you're either transferring it to another player or you're transferring it to the community pool. Now let's say I wanted to sell this property, but not for UPICs. I want to sell it for US dollars. I want to take some of this money out. Let's say I wanted to sell this property for $20. We can see here that underneath the $20, it says you will get $19. As you know, every time a property is sold between players, both the buyer and the seller will be paying a 5% fee, and that 5% from each player for a total of 10% goes directly into the community pool. Now I know you're asking, YK2012, that can't be right, because the community pool can only receive UPICs. So here, if you're selling for dollars, what happens with this one extra dollar? In this situation, this $1 or the 5% gets transferred to Upland Me Inc., which, as I described at the beginning, is the company that operates and develops the Upland metaverse, and the equivalent amount of UPICs is transferred from the Upland pool into the community pool. So this is how the community pool will be getting this 1,000 extra UPICs, which is the equivalent of this $1. I have described how UPIX enters the community pool, either by minting of new properties or secondary marketplace transaction fees. The money from the community pool flows back into the accounts of the players by paying out on yields, treasure hunting, other contests, and events that Upland hold for the community. With regards to US dollar transactions between player to player, or players buying UPIX from the Upland store, we see a one-way flow of UPIX from the Upland pool either to the accounts of the players who bought the UPIX or on secondary market transactions directly to the community pool. Now, what happens when the Upland pool gets completely depleted? If the Upland pool has no money and I wanted to purchase $100 worth of UPIX, as I said, they would need 100,000 UPIX in the Upland pool in order to transfer to my account. Now, what happens if they don't have that 100,000 UPIX to give me? This is a very important question, and for that, it deserves its entire video just on its own. There are a number of ways that the Upland pool can be funded, and take a look at this next video in order to continue learning more.